Thanks, Nick. I'm Geoff Mann, Customer Service Manager, and here to talk about what will be your experience when you contact the company, what will happen for you. So we've currently revisited our model for what happens when you contact us and done a few tweaks to it. But it's based on three key functional areas that I'll take you through now. And the first step of those is the help centre. That's what happens when you ring us, contact us, you'll hit there. They will answer your questions, action your request. Common questions we get are things like, what's the balance of my account? How do I transfer water? And we guide you through that process. Or how do I reset my passwords? Another common one now with the new systems. If the help centre can't answer your question, then they will ask you a series of other questions to make sure they understand what you're trying to get out of the inquiry you're making. This enables them to make sure they can get you to the right place in the next stage of what we call a pathway through the company. So they'll ask a series of questions so we can get into the knowledge subject matter expert areas. They also capture your inquiry in our customer system, which ensures that we're able to track and manage your inquiry. So as soon as you contact, that's captured, so then we can ensure that we get closeouts on those inquiries. They're not just scribbled on a piece of paper and then forgotten about, and then you don't get the follow-up. It's all into a system now, the way we work. The help centre's provided 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m, 7 days a week in the current formation. So the second stage is the knowledge areas. These staff provide detailed responses and action, and they drive resolution of your query within their area. They're developing their skills to be able to do that, and I'll talk about that in some of our challenges. And the three key knowledge areas that we have that will make sense when I go through them is around water. First one's water delivery, and that's what we used to call the old planners, and many of you ring up and say, can I talk to the planner, sort of? That's the old planner department. They're involved in all aspects of delivering your water, getting the orders all into the system correctly, getting our supply from Water New South Wales correctly, managing your meter readings and discrepancies, managing the outlets, the configuration of the outlets so you can get your supply right. So they look after all of that, and they have the knowledge in that whole area. The next knowledge area is the control room and the control system operators, and Jared's going to take you through the control system in the next set of slides. So they're really tasked with executing the plan that the water delivery guys hand over every day. They execute that to deliver the water to your farm gate and ensure it's delivered in full and on time. The third area is water trade. That's where we act on all aspects of your account configuration. That includes permanent trading and temporary trading now. So a recent change in the company has been that permanent trade area has moved into the customer operations department. So that's where we manage all of that. So what you should experience from the knowledge areas, you should experience the resolution of your inquiry within the capacities that we work in what we call a rules-based system. So within the parameters they work in, where there's known outcomes, they should be able to resolve it for you. They also, what you should experience, and you'll hear this a few times today, we're currently pushing to, they should be also identifying issues from their knowledge of the area they're in prior to you picking them up. So Jared will talk more about that from the control system aspect, but what you should be experiencing is more outward phone calls, letting you know things, we need to fix this, we found this, or whatever's happening. The third part then of the pathways model as we move through it is the customer relationship officers, or the accounts team, which Josh manages. These work to rectify the issues experienced by customers or rectify issues when things go wrong, or act on inquiries which do not have a known outcome and are what we call complex in nature. One of their key activities, and what you'll expect from them, is they'll undertake understanding, catching up with you, understanding and setting and managing your expectation. So Josh will talk about that as well when we talk to some performance of the model, essentially in his slides. So a change you may be experiencing in that customer relationship space at the moment is with permanent trade coming in. We're moving through a process where now when we become aware that you are buying or selling land and things, that we contact you in the first instance now and have a chat, and come out and have a chat and talk about, and do a complete health check. We really want to understand what you want to do. We've experienced where customers, we suddenly see a form from a solicitor, they're buying land, then down the track we find out actually they want to amalgamate that as well, and then I actually want to talk about supply points and things like that because I want to bring it into one holding. So if we want to come out and talk about that at the beginning, get the full picture, then develop a whole plan of approach for that, and then draft up a service level agreement about these are the steps we need to do to get to your end result. Also work with you to set timelines around that so you understand what's going to happen along that whole phase and we're then accountable around those timelines, and then walk the journey with you so you get the results you want at the end. Other key activities that the relationship office undertake are intelligence gathering, and that's a bit of a theme. You know, I hear that coming through today in both Adelaide and Nick's delivery, and some comments from the floor. The more intelligence we can get from you in the way we operate now, the better we can deliver services to you. So why do we have the service delivery model? We put it in place because, the first step of it is because we want to capture and record your requests. We really want to be able to use that to ensure we monitor what's happening, and also enables us to train staff. You know, we can do all of that with the information you gather from you. It also ensures that the capturing and tracking of requests and handling by the help centre or the subject matter experts also ensures that we have clear communication about what's happening and supports us in providing a consistent level of service and message to you. We also do it all in the triage framework. Again, you'll hear that a lot today through a number of the activities we do, and that's all about ensuring we're always focused on the highest risk activities and applying the appropriate resources and actions. As Adelaide talked to, we can certainly build a gold-plated service, but a gold-plated service costs a lot of money, so we're constantly balancing that tension between appropriate resources and getting the outcomes right. Putting this all together and taking these actions, we aim to provide the appropriate resolution. It's important to say that both this drawing and the previous one works from left to right, and if you try to come in at a different point, I think you're going to end up frustrated. So I really want to encourage everybody to call the 1300 number. That's where you start, and then you flow through the process from there, and hopefully that's a good experience for you, from it getting it either actioned in the first instance, resolved in the next segment, or somebody's going to talk to you about the longer term, how we can resolve it when it's a long, complex matter. So the challenges we face. So as I said, we've just done a bit of tweaking of the model. Previously we were quite focused on trying to multi-skill the team so that we were aimed at trying to resolve at the point of contact. So some reflection from both customers and internally was that was a challenge for staff to understand all elements. As you would know, it's a very complex business. So we have a simple business to order delivery, but it's very complex from all the parts that move in it and all the different actions. So the reflection has taken us to the help centre approach and the subject matter areas experts. So we're still transitioning. That's just been rolled out earlier this year with staff. Staff have found their home where they sit in that model, and we're working through that. Resources have also been a challenge in the last period. As I'm sure many of you are aware from your own activities, the recruitment market's quite tough at the moment. We've been struggling to fill some positions. We've finally got them up and that now, and the team's running in that. And the challenge that I face every day is around getting the resource balance right. My piece of the whole jigsaw you're hearing today is a very reactive space. We have days where everybody wants to call us on the phone, and we have days where nobody calls us. So we have a very peak and trough thing that's driven by seasonal activity or weather events. All sorts of things drive that. We do try to predict that as much as possible, but it's about getting the resource balance right to be able to get it right when there's a peak, but also not be inefficient when there's a drop in the demand as well. So that's a battle that we face as well, getting that right. And as I said, Also, then the final one is really around that skills and knowledge. We've had a number of new staff starting with us recently. You'll hear some different voices on the phones and that, so we're still in that build phase of that. You know, this company in this industry, you take a season really for anybody new to understand all the elements of a whole seasonal activity, and then you've even got to apply a couple of seasons with the variations that occur through the different different processes that happen when we have different allocations and that. So we're still building those knowledges and skills. And also part of that knowledge and skill is a reflection that a lot of, and where we've been focused in our recent recruitment, has really been quite a skill swap out. We really are operating a much more technical, like a tech sort of company now. We're using tools and interfaces that are different to the old manual system. Part of the journey that Jared will touch on is a journey from manual through to where we have the control system. So we are looking for different skill sets now, and that's part of the changeover we're currently in at the moment. So looking forward, what will you expect? Hopefully you'll be hearing from us more. We'll be on the phone calling to you saying, oh, we've just picked up your outlets not operating as expected. We're working on it now. We expect a recovery in 6 hours, or whatever the approach is. Things like that. There'll be a standardisation of operations coming through. Jared will talk more about this as well, but you'll see that. That's about the consistency of service, no matter what part of the system you're in. And finally, we're always aiming to improve your online experience, because your ability to be able to self-serve online when it suits you is really the best service we can provide. So we're always looking at ways to improve that capacity. So happy to chat to anybody later. If you've got any ideas, please let us know. I haven't touched much on performance yet, but Josh is going to touch on that in his slides. But yeah, that's my